Every year, the United Nations Development Solutions Network releases a report known as the World Happiness Report, which is an annual reminder to humans that there are people out there significantly happier than they are. We have seen hordes of people migrate to a certain part of Europe, specifically countries like Finland, Norway, Switzerland, and Denmark, and measurably see an uplift in not just the quality of life, but also their moods. Every year the report comes out, the question is not which country would top the chart, but rather which European countries will be at the top. So why are these countries significantly at the top of the report, and what makes them different from a supernation like the USA? We take a deeper dive to find out in this video. Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting video from our channel. In this video today, we take a look into why countries like Finland and Denmark top the world happiness charts. But before we start, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss a video from us. That said, now come, let's take a look. Happiness may seem like an elusive concept to quantify and measure, but there's a science behind it. Happiness experts rank 156 countries around the globe, measuring 6 areas of interest. Since the beginning of the report in 2012, Nordic countries like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland have been consistently topping in these categories, which are GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, social support, generosity, and absence of corruption. You may expect a country like the United States to be somewhere at the top, but surprisingly, it generally lands at the 18th or 19th place in every report. The COVID crisis changed the world for good, and workers in the US have been dreading going back to work. Besides the fight for competent wages, the overall sense of security has diminished over the years, with loss of jobs, pay, and drop in quality of life observed across the board. The fact is, most of us are stressed out, unhappy, overworked, and underpaid, with little in terms of public policy or corporate benefits to help reduce the burdens on the average American worker. The average work week in the US is 38.6 hours, and that is just an overview of the real picture. In reality, most workers end up spending much more time working more than one job and spend their lives doing it because they're underpaid. All that time can be spent caring for our families and spending time with them, especially in times like these. Nordic countries, on the other hand, seem to have it all figured out. In 2019, the World Happiness Report named Finland the happiest country in the world for the second year in a row. Denmark came in second place after claiming the top spot in 2013 and 2016. Year after year, Nordic countries like Norway, Iceland, and Sweden round out the top of the list. But how exactly are they doing it? Jeffrey Sachs, a professor at Columbia and co-editor of the World Happiness Report, says that these countries may not be the richest countries in the world by any means, but there's a high level of prosperity which entails a good balance of life. The idea is not to be constantly battling to be super rich, but to maintain that balance. On average, richer countries are happier. On average, richer people are happier. But once we get to a certain level of income, an additional $100 a month is not going to impact how people feel about their lives. So with money, like everything else, we see diminishing marginal return. When you do not have to worry about money, you do not have to worry about the future. Instead, we can focus on other things that impact our lives. In countries like Finland and Denmark, people don't have to worry about tomorrow. They don't have to worry if they can afford their children's higher education. They don't have to worry about how to pay the bill if they have to go to the hospital. They don't have to worry about pension. It is already taken care of. They don't have to worry about maternity leaves. People who lose their jobs are taken care of by the economy. Wealth is distributed quite evenly across these countries, which reduces the number of poor people, which in turn reduces the number of unhappy people. Apart from equal distribution of wealth in Nordic countries, there's a strong balance between life and work. There is gender equality and overall friendliness and welfare spread all around. When you or your family member needs hospitalization, the entire family does not land in a crisis. In fact, managing expenses at times like these is the last thing people need to worry about. Healthcare, the most basic need of a human, is taken care of by the strong economy and prevalence of wealth in these sectors. Some Finns think that Finland is the best place to have children. When you give birth, it's almost free. Top-of-the-class care is given at hospitals right from the time you're pregnant until you give birth, all free of costs. Some people describe the experience of staying and going through childbirth like living in a hotel. In Finland, new mothers receive a free baby box packed with about 63 items like diapers, etc. to help with the baby's first year, so they basically do not need to buy anything. It's all for free. Finland, along with other Nordic countries, offers generous parental leave, with about 1 year of paid parental leave that can be split between partners. Another factor that determines the well-being of an individual is the sense of personal freedom and security to make life choices. Someone unhappy at their job does not have to dread being out of it. Instead, they can take a break and spend time rethinking their career. The Danish government hands out about $2,000 a month while you're unemployed. If you go to school to acquire a new skill within this time, you also get a stipend of about $1,000 to cover your tuition. Coming to education, another big factor contributing to the overall well-being is free education. Two of the biggest perks of the life in Denmark and Finland are free education and free healthcare. Whether you're a parent putting your child into school or an adult wanting to study further, education, that too world-class, is absolutely free with only a nominal amount spent on clerical charges. The freedom to choose your career without worrying about having to pay for education plays a high role in not just sustaining the well-being of an individual, but society as a whole. Income taxes in these Nordic countries are not as high as people tend to think. Instead, in Finland and other Nordic countries, there are higher taxes on consumption, like eating in restaurants and buying clothing. But the Nordic people are happy to pay those taxes because they get services in return. Services like daycare, public education, college tuition, and healthcare are all included in these taxes. It's easier for Finns and Danes to shape their lives because the government supports so many of their basic needs. The American dream is probably more alive in Finland and Denmark. In Denmark, the fear of the government is basically non-existent. Instead, citizens are confident that the government is out there to protect you. People trust the government, and vice versa. Apart from trusting the government, people also trust other people. You can forget your wallet in a bar or a restaurant, and there's a high chance that when you come back for it, it will have remained untouched. People even leave babies parked in strollers outside coffee shops while they run errands. This sense of trust is mostly cultivated by the provision of basic services for everyone. So there's less poverty, leading to much less crime and feeling of inequality and injustice. People get the education they need. They can have a job. They can work. They don't have to struggle in life as much. Nobody is super wealthy and nobody is super poor, so everybody wins. Americans, on the other hand, are in a constant cycle of debt and repayments. Education is expensive, and good education even more. Most people end up not going to college simply because they cannot afford it. Healthcare is very expensive. Childbirth is expensive, and if one needs extensive treatment, medical bills keep piling on, and up to thousands of dollars, which usually they cannot afford. This leads to general neglect of health and well-being. The lack of basic services like education and healthcare leads to more people being unemployed and impoverished. This then leads to an increase in crime and a sense of no trust among people. Corruption also takes a step in which contributes to mistrust and inequality. So in essence, the idea is very simple. These Nordic countries know that everyone being at the same level in terms of wealth and receiving basic benefits from the government will reduce stress to a great extent among its citizens and increase overall satisfaction, and thus, in the process, happiness among them. When will other countries adopt these ways of being? We don't know yet, but surely the secret is out there and it's tried, tested, and being used, and we have millions of people to vouch for it. The world will keep changing, and nations are constantly adopting new policies to uplift the welfare of the people. And we are committed to discussing it. That brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such exciting content. See you in the next video.